Hey guys, welcome to the garden. So I'm just kind of giving you a quick overview today. Like I said in the introduction video, this pretty much has been sitting for 3 years without much. I do have a small patch of yarrow started and contained. We've got some blueberry bushes from this year as well as last year. The heat kind of killed them last year, so I had to get a couple more. I've got one lone elderberry bush that's coming back, so we'll have to see what happens. This, I think it's about 8-foot tall fence, was put in by a friend of ours and my husband. So my goal is to put some vines on it for coverage. We have these raised garden beds that are way overrun, but as the week goes on, I'm going to be working on cleaning them up, getting them reorganized. I've already started. This is our asparagus bed. I need to start trimming these back. I just got it cleaned out and they are so happy to have it cleaned out. There's nothing growing here. I cleaned it out and now they're just sprouting. So we're going to have asparagus for dinner. That is going to be my strawberry bed. My mom has strawberries that I've taken over her garden, so she's going to split them off. We had a really bad heat wave last year and a couple of freezes the year before, and it's pretty much decimated the rest of the garden. My lemon balm has come back, and that's about it. The only thing in here. So, and we have some chives that came back. So this garden this garden bed will be cleaned up and turned into a salsa garden. And in that corner, I'm going to do an herb garden. So this is my garden. And our house is over there. What we did is we had these small raised beds, and we used square foot gardening when we first started them. I don't follow that as much now, but I think it's an excellent way to plant. This year I'm trying something different. I'm going with more of a themed garden. These plants in this garden bed are more sweet plants, and I'm expecting them to survive and come back next year. So we have strawberries, and we had the day after I planted them, it got really toasty out here, so I lost all of my strawberries. Unfortunately, I know they will come back, but it's just kind of sad because you've got a bunch of strawberries and you're ready to go eat some and they don't come back. As I talked about in the introduction, I do wildcraft a little, and this is yarrow. It is in the ragweed family. It is great as a stypic, so I've been put on baby aspirin, and so I can bleed pretty profusely if I get scratches and whatnot. So, a little bit of this will actually stop the bleeding pretty quickly. But I also use it in my herbal salves because it's great for healing up the skin and for preventing scarring. Now, rosemary is another plant that, as long as it doesn't freeze in the winter, that's the problem we have here in Oklahoma. Everything cooks in the summer and freezes in the winter. But rosemary is another one that I add to a lot of my herbal preparations, and it's great for cooking with. So what I did is I transplanted some of my wild yarrow here, and some of these are doing really well. That one not so much. And this is a lavender plant. Unfortunately, I got the wrong species, so it's going to be great for keeping bugs out of the garden. But because we're allergic to lavender, especially the smell of lavender, is not as good so much for us, because this is not the lavender that you use for essential oils. This is Spanish lavender, and what I should have got was English lavender. So I'm gonna have to find some of that and throw it in here. So this is the bed that I'm gonna be working on to create a salsa garden, on kind of in the middle. And up here you see chives. My daughter loves chives, and it's kind of a family joke because she used to eat the quote-unquote grass, she called it, that was by the house when she was a kid. So I make sure we always have chives in our garden, and these have lasted several years. They're still blooming. I did cut the blooms off this one. And we do eat dandelion leaves. Just a reminder, what we do here is not what we're telling you to do. If you're interested in wild crafting, there are good books and classes on it. So, but I'm gonna clean most of this out, and it's gonna probably take me a good hour or two. And then put some Happy Frog down, which is a type of composted fertilizer. Mix it in good, and then I've got some tomatoes and peppers and onions I'm gonna plant. Usually you don't plant tomatoes and peppers in the same garden, because if one gets a bug or a virus or gets sick somehow, that fungus or virus or whatever will pass to the peppers because they're both in the nightshade family. So you have to keep peppers and potatoes and tomatoes and all those separate. But this year I'm going to put them together since I haven't had a lot of problems with fungus and disease, and we'll see what happens. Hey guys, it's been a little while since you've been out in the garden with me. So for about the past 2 weeks or so, I've been really working on some other projects, just trying to keep up with the garden, which it's getting toasty and warm out here because we just are hitting summer soon. The weather feels like it already, but so I haven't really done any more garden videos, and honestly the garden needs a little bit of cleanup, but I thought I'd shoot this video so I could get the first video set out to you guys. Behind me you can see the compost bin, which is almost completed. I've started raking up from the lawn mowing and putting the grass in there, and putting some dead leaves in there so I get the greens and browns in there. But I want to tell you real quick, if you've been following along, we did the intro to the chickens and we were doing really good. And this weekend was my husband and I's anniversary, and we went out to the movies. We did the matinee so we'd be home in time to feed the chickens and lock them up. We got home, and the first thing I saw when we pulled up was piles of feathers. So apparently something attacked them. The rooster we thought was so innocent and quiet and would never do anything to protect the hens was the one who died protecting the hens. So our white rooster's gone. We found the bodies of 4 of the hens. 3 of the other hens were just gone. We haven't found the bodies, and then we had 2 are injured that I'm trying to recuperate. One is a fighter. She doesn't want me to touch her. She doesn't want any special treatment. She's trying to hang out with the other hens. The other one is having a hard time getting up. So she's eating, she's drinking, but if she doesn't start turning around in a day or 2, I'll probably put her down. So that was kind of rough. I've been very protective of them. They get to go for walks when I'm in the yard with them. So, but we'll see. They don't do well staying in their pen because there is 20 of them. And even though we have a nice sized pen, they like getting out and chasing bugs and whatnot. So we'll have to see what we can do. The problem is, even being out in the country and having fences and whatnot, we have dogs and predators that climb fences, that jump fences, and so it makes it difficult. And that's part of farm life. So, but that being said, the garden looks a wreck. And I know you're gonna think, this lady never takes care of her garden. Well, I do, but sometimes other things are a priority. So I'm gonna turn you around and walk you through the garden, some of the stuff I've done, some of the stuff I'm gonna have to clean up, and what's going on there. And keep a lookout for the well house. Should be done in the next probably month. We're doing some more videos. We've got the inside cleaned up. We've got the electrical everything's connected except for the solar panels. We cannot connect those until our electrical company, I was going to say electrician, but our electrical company gives us the go-ahead. We have had the electrician check that everything's good and the disconnect is in. So we should be good to go. We just got to finish the building of the well house so it can get approved. So that's where we're at with that. So I'll turn the camera around and walk you through the garden and some things that we've got to take care of this week. Probably, honestly, I'm gonna be getting up at 6 a.m. because by 9 o'clock out here, it's hitting the mid 80s. So it's getting really toasty. So let me turn you around and walk you through the garden and show you what I've done and where we're at with it. So if you remember, we had these raised beds. This is my strawberry garden, and less than 2 weeks ago, I had these little plants come up and I wasn't sure what they were, and now I know it's grass. So I've been cleaning it out. But my rosemary's doing good. My yarrow's doing pretty good. The heat's starting to get to it. There's a weed. It's amazing what grows up when you don't want it. My lavender looks a little bit discolored, so I'm gonna have to check with our ag extension and see what's going on. This is stevia, and this stuff is taking off. And by the way, stevia is real easy to grow except in the winter. And so this week I'm going to clean out the garden again and get it cleaned out and show you a quick video of that. Not yarrow. The white stuff there is yarrow. My asparagus, right about when it starts hitting summer, I just kind of let it go to seed because it stops producing a lot of the shoots. So what I do is I just let mine grow, and all this fern stuff actually is kind of like the vine for a potato. It is absorbing nutrients and whatnot to give the roots the energy to make plants next year. And since it's too hot for me to be out here grilling much, I stopped cooking, so I just let them go a little crazy. You can see my mint down here. This is pesto. Oh, I'm sorry, this is basil. Basil, and then I've got spearmint right here. And I think that's pineapple mint. I have to double check. I don't want to lead you astray, but I'm pretty sure that's pineapple mint. And then that's spearmint, and then pesto, basil. That's something new I got this year, so I'm going to throw it in some different recipes and see how it goes. So this is my bed where I started transferring yarrow. And then there's my lemon balm. The freeze took out the big portion that, but I thought it would come back, but it doesn't seem like it's coming back yet, so we'll have to see. That bed I haven't done anything with. I have no clue what I'm going to put there. I might throw some herbs there. So when you're dealing with herbs, one of the things you don't want to have happen, which happened, it's amazing how quickly stuff takes off, is you don't want herbs to flower for the most part. It's called bolting, and once they do, the herb is, a lot of the ones I've dealt with, they get pretty tough, and the flavor gets bitter. This is cilantro. And so I was watching it and I thought, okay, I'll go get some for salsa in a day or two. And now all my herbs, because we hit triple digits. Well, they say it feels like triple digits this week. So everything just jumped right up and started bolting on me. So I'm gonna have to find, I think from what I remember a couple of years ago when I did some research, you're supposed to cut it all down and let it grow back. Not cut it to the ground, but cut it short and let it regrow, and then you should be good. But as you can tell, we've got the problem of it's very steamy out here, but also it's getting too hot for it. So I'm gonna have to start watering in the evening, because you don't want to leave water droplets on the leaves, because it'll act when the sun comes out in the morning, it'll burn them. which is hard. We have some raspberries growing here, and they're doing pretty good. And then we have over here some peppermint, and I've got a blackberry in here. That's where this is. I'm gonna have to get some, I call them vine tamers or baggy ties, whatever you want to call them, but tie that to the fence and let it start crawling up, and then that one. But it's funny, the wild blackberries are doing great, but these don't want to do too much. So, and then my tomato plant, again, everything just started growing, and this thing wasn't doing too well. And now it's laying over, so I'm gonna have to restake it. It broke the sticks, but restake it and stand it back up. But I'm getting lots of cherry tomatoes off the little plants, and then we got these. So again, it's time to come out here and clean out the gardens, which honestly, a garden is a living thing, and it's getting back in the habit of taking care of it. I've got some echinacea planted, but it hasn't popped up, so I'm watering it every other night and waiting for it to grow. Now my squash has taken off. I think I've got squash on one side and then cantaloupe on the other. So I see some flowers down here, so we'll have to see how this does. Sorry, I have a texture thing, and the plant leaves are fuzzy, so it's like ooh, ooh, ooh. A lot of the other plants didn't do too well, but I've never gotten a single cantaloupe to grow in my garden, so if I get one this year, I'll be excited. Squash, same way. And then this is an herb garden I was trying. So we've got oregano and lemon thyme, and we've got this is something new, some catnip, which a friend of mine uses as tea. And I didn't know I was gonna have to try that, but this is really nice. This is lemon grass, and I had some soup, and it's Thai soup, and it's lemongrass soup. It's like chicken soup, but imagine a lemony flavor. And so they had lemongrass in it, so I'm excited to try that. But so we've got Greek oregano, and we've got lemon thyme, we've got a wild plant, and we've got dill over here. So I'm gonna turn these smaller beds into herb gardens. And I just got some stuff I had ordered offline in. So I've got hanging, what are they called? Look, it reminds me of a chart holder, but it's shoe rack, whatever, but they're made for plants. And I'm gonna put a bunch of little pots in them and hang them on the wall and see how well that works. And just find some good spots. And I'm thinking if I keep them in the pot, then the herbs hopefully will grow, and I can take them in the winter, but we'll see. So I'm trying to get my herbs going. We had a horrible windstorm that just knocked everything down and was not nice to the garden. So for right now, we're going back out in the garden to clean up this week. Like I said, it's gonna have to be during the cool of the evening or in the morning. The compost bin is almost completed. There's a couple things I want to do, but I'm not doing it probably this week. All these greens, when I cut them down, they go out in the compost bin. And so then I'm going to be working on a fence to block this off. I've actually got some posts, and I've got that roll of wire there. I need a garden gate, but I figured I'm going to start by blocking this off. That'll keep the rabbits, and well, rabbits can come in, but deer and whatnot typically won't try to jump in a garden close to a house. So, but that's where we're at with the garden. So Hopefully I'll get a picture up in a week and just do a quick update on the garden and show you how, cleaned it up, and I might find some more plants that'll be able to survive the Oklahoma sun. So well, goodbye for now, and we'll see you on the next segment of It's an OK Homestead.